What if one city didn't just grow within a country, but slowly came to define it? Not because it was chosen, but because everything began to flow toward it. Because in the case of London, power was not simply held, it accumulated. Welcome to the making of Britain. The story begins not with a city, but with a crossing. The River Thames narrows at a point where it can be bridged, while still allowing ships to travel further inland than almost anywhere else in Britain. This combination is rare, a place where land routes can meet water routes, where movement can pause, transfer and continue. Long before London existed as a name or an idea, this geography created a kind of inevitability. People crossed here, traded here and settled here, not because of a plan, but because the land made it practical. When the Romans arrived in the 1st century AD, they recognised the same advantage. They established the Londinium near this crossing point, building a bridge and laying out a town that would serve as a commercial and administrative centre. Londinium was not the capital of Roman Britain at first, but it quickly became one of its most important settlements. Goods moved through it, officials operated from it, and its position on the Thames allowed it to connect inland Britain to the wider Roman world. The city was not imposed onto the landscape, it was built in response to it. When Roman rule ended in the early 5th century, Londinium declined. Its administrative structures disappeared, its population reduced, and its role as centre of power faded. For a time, it might have seemed as though the city's importance had been temporary, but the geography remained. Trade did not stop entirely. Movement didn't cease. Anglo-Saxon settlements developed nearby, and over time, activity returned to the old Roman site. What had been established once could be re-established again because the conditions that made it useful had not changed. By the medieval period, London had become the largest city in England. It was a centre of trade, governance and population. The presence of institutions such as Westminster and the Tower of London reflects this concentration of power. Monarchs ruled from here, laws were administered and wealth accumulated. The city's growth was not accidental, it was reinforced by decisions that recognised its advantages. Once London became the centre, it became increasingly difficult for anything else to compete. London's position on the Thames allowed it to expand its influence beyond Britain. Goods arrived from across Europe and later from across the world. The river functioned as a gateway, linking the city to international trade networks. Markets developed, merchants settled, and the city's economy grew more complex. A merchant operating in London would have been part of a system that extended far beyond the city itself. The Thames connected London to these systems, allowing it to participate in, and eventually dominate, trade. As you're still walking with me, you can really help support this channel by giving me a like. Thanks. At this point, it's worth considering how London's dominance should be understood. Was it inevitable, shaped by geography and early advantage? Or was it the result of political decisions that concentrated power in one place? Share your views in the comments because the answers affect how we understand the development of Britain itself. The 17th century brought major challenges. The city experienced the Great Plague and then the Great Fire of London, which destroyed much of the medieval city. These events could have marked a decline. Instead, they led to reconstruction. Streets were rebuilt, buildings redesigned, and the city adapted. The pattern is significant. London did not simply grow. It absorbed shocks and reformed itself, maintaining its position even in the face of disruption. By the 18th and 19th centuries, London had become centre of a global empire. Goods, people and information moved through the city on a scale that had not existed before. The Port of London handled trade from across the world, and the city became a hub of finance, governance and administration. The scale of this activity reinforced London's dominance within Britain. Decisions made in the city affected territories far beyond it. A clerk working in London might have been dealing with matters that extended across continents. The city's reach was no longer regional or national, it was global. The 20th century brought further change. War, economic shifts, and political transformation altered the structure of Britain and its empire. London remained central, but its role evolved. It became a financial centre, a political capital, and a cultural hub. The institutions established in early periods continued to operate, but within a different context. The city adapted again, maintaining continuity while changing function. Its importance did not disappear, it was redefined. If you subscribe, there's a whole back catalogue of videos similar to this for you to enjoy. Today, London is one of the most influential cities in the world. It's a centre of finance, government, culture, and global connection. The Thames still flows through it as it did when the first crossings were made. The city's scale and complexity are far greater, but the underlying geography remains the same. What has changed is the way that geography has been used, expanded, and interpreted over time. London is not just a place, it's the result of centuries of accumulation. If London became the centre of Britain because everything flowed toward it, what does that suggest about power forms? Does it begin with geography, or does it depend on the decisions that follow? Because the story of London is not just about a city that grew, it's about a place that drew everything into itself, and in doing so, helped shape the nation around it. YouTube has chosen this video for you to watch next because you've watched this one. Have a look, I think you'll enjoy it. And if you ding the bell, you'll be notified of all new episodes so you don't miss any. Thanks for walking a little further along the road that built Britain with me. Bye.